welcome to another episode of Bravo Charlie's. This is episode number 6. Before I continue with the cooking videos, and I have about 14 or 15 still planned, I thought it would be good to take some time and explain what it would take to build a decent kitchen. What tools you need to get by with all the recipes I'm making, recipes you want to make on your own, meals, what are the basics that you need. Now, let me say first off, I'm going to tell you the brands of everything I use, but no one's paying me to say anything about whatever brands I'm using. This just happens to be my personal preferences. And I'll give you some price ranges as we talk about some of these different items. As we go along, I'll give you some price ideas, what things will cost. But I have sort of arranged here on the counter in front of me, the most important to my right, to middle of the road, things that you should have, to conveniences down here that are darn nice to have in your kitchen when you need them, but you're not going to use them every day. So starting down here, and one brand that I do like is Pampered Chef. I have their Pampered Chef serrated knife. This comes in handy for a lot of things. I don't think it's ever been sharpened. I've had this for multiple years. It stays very sharp. It is serrated, so it's good for breads, it's good for soft vegetables. Sometimes a knife like this without the serrated edge will have a hard time cutting a soft tomato or something of that nature. But a long serrated knife is a must-have in a kitchen. Something else from Pampered Chef is kitchen shears. Don't go buy a cheap pair of scissors to keep in your kitchen. These will cut anything from chicken bones to string to paper, whatever you need, plastic that a turkey comes wrapped in. I use these for everything. Had these for years. They go in the dishwasher. They're stainless steel. They are self-sharpening. I've never sharpened them. They're as sharp as the day I got them. Kitchen shears are imperative to have. As far as knives go, you do need a good knife set. My preferred brand, the brand that I've been using a long time, is Chicago Cutlery. This knife right here is my #1 go-to knife. It is from Chicago Cutlery and it's called a Santoku knife. Or is it a Santoku knife? I think it's a S-A-N-T-O-K-U is how it's spelled. It's got a relatively flat edge. It's got a lot of weight to it. This is what I use 80% of the time in the kitchen. So whatever knife set you buy, this is what's called a chef's knife. This is pretty common. A lot of people have seen this. This is called a chef's knife. I just have a longer thin knife. This is a large paring knife. This is a small paring knife. Obviously, the bigger the job, or the smaller the job, like like fruits and vegetables. But a good knife set can run you hundreds, thousands of dollars. Going to Kohl's or Macy's or something like that, when you have a kitchen sale, you can get a good Chicago Cutlery knife set for $100. Don't buy a cheap set. A cheap set will bend. These are very rigid knives. They do not bend. They're stainless steel. I never throw them in the washing machine. They're always hand washed. Down here later we'll talk about having a knife sharpener in your kitchen. Don't buy a cheap set for 30 or 40 bucks. They won't stay sharp, they'll bend, they're not very good. Spend $100 on a set of knives. Probably the cheapest thing I have here is my vegetable peeler. There's all kind of fancy peelers, but my grandmother always used this. It's your basic stainless steel, probably $1.99 in Target or Walmart peeler. It's my personal favorite. Whisks. Small, large, and nylon. These I use most often. If you're using a stainless steel container, plastic, glass, stainless steel pot, these work fine. However, if you do have a non-stick pot, you will want to get also a nylon whisk as well, so you don't damage the non-stick coating. Real quick, I'm going to go through some of this stuff. Wooden cooking utensils. you can never have too many. I probably have 3 or 4 more that aren't even in the frame right now, elsewhere in my kitchen. But different sizes, long, short, thicker. Here's one with a flat end. I use this in my wok a lot. Here's another one. You can never have too many different sizes of wooden cooking utensils. Also, when it comes to your spatulas, your basic normal size, I have a smaller one in nylon so it won't scratch Teflon or non-stick. I have a metal one. Slotted spoon, also pick up a non-slotted spoon. I have these are Pampered Chef actually, scrapers for the sides of bowls. If you're mixing something, you want to be able to scrape out everything that's in there. These flexible Pampered Chef scrapers are excellent to have in the kitchen. I probably have a half a dozen different sizes. Here is something that I do want to spend a minute on. Tongs. I have 2 different ones that I keep in my kitchen. They are spring-loaded and they can be locked. So you can either hang them or you can keep them in a container. Obviously a metal one. Make sure you get something with ridges, or this has like round bumps on the end of it. Something that will help you grip. If you get a smooth one, they're miserable to work with. However, I also have one with plastic coating on it. I don't know what brand this is. Probably just picked it up. Doesn't say what brand it is. Probably just picked this up at Target or Kohl's or something like that. But make sure you have something coated in nylon or plastic. Once again though, make sure it has grippy edges on it. So when you're picking up a chicken leg or you're picking up something slippery, it will not slip out of here. Very important, have a couple good pair of tongs in your kitchen that you're comfortable working with. Obviously measuring cups. You need a set of measuring cups. I like these Pyrex ones. A set of measuring spoons, everything from 1/8 of a teaspoon up to a tablespoon. I like these Pyrex glass measuring cups. I have them in a couple different sizes, 1 cup, 2 cup. You can buy a set, they're not very expensive. Look for them on sale in your favorite store. This is, my wife and I can't decide. I think it's my grandmother's, she thinks it's her grandmother's. I'm not really sure, but either way, it's been with one of our families for decades. It's all beat up, it's faded, it's hard to see some of the measurements, but I refuse to get rid of it. It's an 8-cup, 2-quart mixing bowl. Just something small, doing eggs, pancake batter, waffle batter, something like that. You need one of these. I prefer the plastic ones over the glass ones. The glass ones are heavier. A lot of times when you're doing something in these, you have a quart or 2 of liquid in here, plus a glass container. If you're trying to pour it over something, it's just easier to have. I prefer the lighter version. Okay, these are the most important things that you must have in your kitchen. If you're going to start cooking, if you're going to start making the recipes that I've put in the first 5 episodes and will be continuing to do for another 15 episodes or so, these items are imperative. You'll see me using them all the time. A few other items to have in your kitchen for convenience, but when you need them, you'll be glad they're there. A basting brush. You pick this up anywhere. Pampered Chef makes them. You can get them in Kohl's, Macy's, any brand will do. Just get a nice bristled brush that doesn't fall apart, that's pretty sturdy. I use this on the grill. I use this inside cooking. These are nice to have. Something that you'll be very happy you have when you have to measure the temperature of something. This happens to be, once again, a Pampered Chef thermometer. This is fully adjustable. I use it for making candy and making turkey at Thanksgiving dinner. I'll be making an episode soon, and if you follow me on Facebook, you'll notice that I put a post a couple weeks ago about fish in a bag. I use this to poke through the bag to test the temperature of the meat. You can set on this digital scale. It's got magnets on the back so it can stick to your cabinetry or stick to your oven. This cord is heat It's safe to go in the oven. So this is outside, this is in the oven, reading the temperature, telling you exactly when something is done. Get yourself a good kitchen thermometer. It takes all the guesswork out. If a recipe says it's done at 145 degrees, when this says 145 degrees, you pull it out of the oven. Very important to have. A garlic press. You can buy already pressed or minced garlic in a jar in the grocery store. It's more expensive and it's not fresh. If you want, get a garlic press. You put a couple cloves of garlic in there after you peel the skins off. You push it together and you have perfectly fresh minced garlic coming out of the bottom. This, a lot of people will not know what this is, but it's handy. It is a zester for lemons, oranges, limes. You'll see me use this occasionally. I haven't used it yet in any of the videos, but I'm sure coming up this summer I'll be using it. You scrape a lemon or a lime using this edge and it'll take the zest of the citrus fruit off, and you can use that for flavoring, for garnish, whatever. But this is handy to have when you need it. Okay, sticking with citrus, this is a citrus press. Lemons, limes, oranges. Very handy if you're making a dish where it requires lemon flavor in the pan, on maybe breaded fish that's before it goes in the oven, something of that nature. You cut the lemon or lime in half, you put it in here with the cut side down and the round side up, push it together, and this will press 95% of the juice out of whatever citrus fruit you're using. The nice thing is, if you're using an orange, if you're using a lemon, limes don't have seeds in them, but lemons and oranges do. The seeds will get trapped in this receptacle, in the bowl here, not come through these slots. So you get all the juice, very little pulp, and no seeds. Very handy to have in the kitchen. Pie spatula, not something you're going to use all the time, but trust me, when you have pie and you're serving guests, this is going to be handy to have. I got one with some serrated edges on it, so it will, double as a knife if you need to for cutting pieces of pie. This is a Pampered Chef. I do like their products. They have very quality products, and in the near future, I have a good friend of mine who is a I'm not sure of her exact title, regional director, regional sales rep for Pampered Chef. We're going to do a video with her. Her name is Lisa Simonetta. We're going to try and do a video with her and look at all of their useful products. I am not a huge gadget man. I like basics. Give me a serrated knife, give me a couple stainless steel knives, whisks, wooden spoons. I don't need choppers, I don't need all kind of things like that, but people like those things. Pampered Chef has tons of interesting products, and we'll go over those in the future. Okay, so we talked about the pie spatula, cheese grater. This is extremely handy to have. It's not something you'll use all the time, but it can be used for anything from ginger, nutmeg, cheeses, garlic. This one has 3 sides to it, so I don't have to buy 3 cheese graters. This has a fine, medium, and large grating side to it. You just put it on the counter like that, grate your cheese, and you have a pile of shredded cheese when you're done. Very handy to have when you need it. Here is an item that a lot of people won't know what this is. However, it is extremely handy when you need it. It's called a mandolin. They're dangerous, so please be careful when you use these. They come with this handle to put your fruit or vegetable that you're cutting in here. Do not use your hands like this, because this blade right here is a razor blade and it will slice your finger. Cutting potatoes for potato chips, cucumbers. Extremely handy when you're preparing a large salad and you're cutting carrots, you're cutting cucumbers, you're cutting tomatoes. I used this the other night for scalloped potatoes. I sliced down 4 large potatoes in no time. A mandolin, this one is by Pampered Chef. There's many different brands. don't buy a cheap one. A cheap one will have a bad blade or a poor blade on it that won't cut your food very well. Don't buy a cheap one. Spend some money, get a decent mandolin. Okay, so let's talk about this. You've seen me use this in my soup episodes. This is the Immersion Blender, or as some people affectionately call it, the boat motor. Because you see it has a little propeller back there. That looks like a boat motor. This one has a detachable stem, so this can go in the dishwasher. This stays nice and dry because it's got your electronics, your 2 speeds, high and low, and that simply snaps back in, and it's ready to go in any type of container, even something small like this or like this, to blend something up and purify it, or puree it, not purify it, puree it. This is Faberware. I probably got this at Kohl's or Macy's. 30 or 40 bucks gets you a decent boat motor. 2 last things. Make sure, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I will tell you having sharp knives is important. Dull knives are what cause cuts. Sharp knives do not. Make sure you have a good knife sharpener. This is an electric one. Don't buy a cheap one. Buy a reasonably priced model. Look for something with good reviews. This one is made by Presto, so look for something with good reviews. Lastly, real quick, if you are a wine drinker, make sure you get one of these. Very handy multi-tool. Put this down in the cork. This goes on the edge of the glass bottle, and it'll allow you to pry up the cork, to cut the foil, and then to keep that bottle, if you're not going to drink the entire bottle, this rubber cork goes in the top of the bottle. You use this to suction out any of the oxygen, and your bottle of wine will stay good for a couple days. So you can see I did a quick change here, and I was hoping to fit everything in one video, but I think I'm going to break this down into a few different parts. So part 1 was all of the kitchen utensils that you saw here on the countertop. Part 2 is going to be on must-have small appliances in your kitchen, and part 3 I'll quickly cover pots and pans. So if you like this video with all the kitchen utensils and the description and things, hopefully you picked up some items and some things that you learned and some things that you can add to your kitchen to make your cooking easier and simpler. Please give me a thumbs up below or hit the subscribe button to see future videos. This will be part 2, but I appreciate it, and so thank you for watching, and part 2 will have small kitchen appliances. Thank you very much, and see you next time.